Okay there, everybody. Greetings and welcome to Progmonster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show that is dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back today for the first episode of the year, Wednesday night favorites. I've chosen a little bit of a different thing to do. Wanted to do this for a while, but I wanted to wait till the channel was over a couple of years old. So the channel is like almost 2.5 years old now, and I decided that for tonight we're going to do my 25 favorite bands that I discovered on Progmonster, so on this channel. So the ramifications or the parameters for this, I guess, is the better choice of words here. The parameters is that it can't be a band that I have albums from, that I had albums from before I started the channel. It can't be bands that I listened to either just one album or greatest hits or stuff like that, or bands that my friend had that I listened to, or any of my friends had that I listened to. It had to be bands that basically I didn't know any of their songs. I may have heard a song here or there by them on the radio and maybe kind of knew the song a bit but didn't know that it was them. So all those parameters had to be put into place. So basically these are all bands that I discovered here on this channel as a result of my listening to stuff that was recommended, or on Ben's album challenge, him giving me stuff there, or the battles that we've done on the series that we've done, or my top 25 albums of a certain year. All this stuff began to develop this interest in all these bands. So I've picked out 25 bands. I could have made this 45 or 50 easily, but I'm just going to go with 25. That's a long enough video for me, and probably for you too. So I've got 25 bands here, and without further ado now, before we get going, what I'm going to do is what I always do when I do these kind of things. We're going to rank them from my most favorite to my least favorite, and I'm going to give them to you from my least favorite to my most favorite, or my worst to my best, or my 25th in this case to first. So that's how we're going to do it. There was no other parameters. I didn't limit it by any other parameters. There might be one or two things that I hadn't thought of that might come up while we're doing it, but I don't think there will be. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So the first band, this band, of course, I've known of for a long time. Probably shouldn't be on this list, but I've never owned anything by them until I started the channel and I got an album that I never listened to anyways. And yeah, I knew a song here or there by them. Technically speaking, they probably shouldn't be on here, but realistically speaking, I didn't know much about them. I didn't know hardly anything about them, even though I had listened to stuff. And my friends didn't even have anything by them. So I decided that they could come in here at 25th and it would be fine. And we're talking about the Scorpions. This I just got along with two other ones. I do have a 90s release that I don't even know if I've actually ever even listened to it. It might still be in the unlistened to rack. I'm not sure. Of course, I knew of Blackout and a few other albums by them, but I could have told you a couple of hits on the radio, but I never owned anything from them. Never really got into them. So they were the one band on this thing that I thought they were like right at the line of whether I was going to include them or not. But for today, we're going to put them in here at number 25, the Scorpions. So number 24 is a band that I didn't even know existed until about a year or so ago, and that's this band, Gung. I like this album a lot too. I've got another one called Mother Gong. I don't care much for that one, but this one I do like a lot, and I plan to get more of this stuff because this is right in my wheelhouse, this album. It's kind of a psychedelic and stuff like that. Not just this album, but the band as a whole. So really interesting band. And Steve Hillage came from this. He's a guy I kind of like a little bit as well. So Gung coming in at number 24. At number 23 is a band that I've done some stuff with them on Metal. I featured them on Metal one time. I've had them in a couple of Album Wars battle things. And I bought this set, which I really like. I think this is one of their better ones. Lots of good stuff on it. And so we're talking about Fate's Warning. Probably my favorite of those progressive metal bands that came out, the big three. They're probably my favorite of the three. And so I discovered them on this channel, so they're coming in at number 23. Number 22 is a band that I don't own any albums from, but it's not for lack of looking or trying. I love this band absolutely. Since Ben gave me one of their albums to review on the Ben's Album Challenge, I've listened to this album, even though I can only listen to it on the computer and stuff. I have listened to it quite a bit, both of the albums that he gave me. And this is Masters Apprentices. I think these guys, once I get their stuff, they're gonna pole vault up to the top of this list almost. So I had to put them on in number 22. Number 21, I bought this album because I love the cover, and then I started listening to this album, and then started listening to some of their other stuff, and I've kind of liked them quite a bit. Some of their stuff's a little bit too long. I can only handle so much of it, and this is one of those really long ones. But we're talking about the Flower Kings. I just love this album cover. I think it's just fantastic. But yeah, the band I've definitely gotten into more recently than early on in the channel, but begun to really get into them. And I think they probably have better albums than this one, but this is the first one I have. So the Flower Kings, number 21. Number 20, never owned anything from him, didn't even know anything by him. I know I had songs that I had listened to, and I did do a skit with this guy, and I did one of his songs, but I never really followed him, and then that was it. I just did the skit. And we're talking about Robert Palmer. I've since started to like a lot of his stuff. I like this album quite a bit. It's kind of almost bluesy, actually, which is kind of strange. But Robert Palmer, number 20. Number 19, this is an album I picked up at a yard sale, and I only picked it up because I like one of the artists quite a bit, and I thought, yeah, I'll give them a try. And I had heard a couple of their stuff before, but I had no idea it was them. And we're talking about the Traveling Wilburys, number 19. Number 18, this band I now have 2 or 3 albums from. I've only started really getting into them quite a bit now. And because I've had some albums, not just their albums, but solo artists from Steve Wilson. So we're talking about Porcupine Tree. And I haven't listened to this one more than once so far, but the other one I've listened to quite a bit that I have. Yeah, so really, really solid band. So Porcupine Tree, number 18. Number 17, this album was in my playlist for like 3-4 months. I've tried to get other stuff from them, but they've been sold out, so I keep trying to get it as we go along, and I just noticed that the CD is in the wrong spot. It's stuck. So many of them have it in the end of the sleeve now. Sometimes I forget. So we're talking about Jade Warrior. This is a great album cover too. I love it. Just take a look at it. Look at that. It's fantastic, eh? So Jade Warrior, really good progressive rock. Lots of quirky stuff too. There's a little bit of quirky stuff on here that really doesn't fit into what I think they're trying to do here. But interesting band, Jade Warrior, number 17. Number 16, I got a couple albums from them. I don't have the one that people keep suggesting to get, but I do like this one, Soundgarden. This is pretty heavy. The guy's vocals are really good on this. The other one I have is maybe not quite as good as this, but I'm starting to shake here. Good. So starting to get into this band quite a bit. Kind of a heavy, they do have a little bit of that grunge sound to them, but not as bad as some of these other grunge bands, and I do like them quite a bit. Soundgarden, number 16. Number 15, I love this album cover. When this was recommended by Ken Goldham on in the Prog seat. I saw the cover. I thought that's amazing, and I went out and I got this album. I was out shop. I asked the guy if he had, and he says, "Yeah, we do." It's kind of pricey, but it was worth it. At first, I didn't care for it, and then it just grew on me. This is Androgynous, Morphous Androgynous. Really good, solid album. So that's number 15. Next one is a band that won my, well, it's a band that was part of the, made my top 10 anyways for last year's Albums of the Year. This is Riverside. Really good, solid. If you want to see where it's placed, go back and watch the episode, which came out last Wednesday, actually. So last week's Wednesday. Actually, I'm going to put the link to it in the at the end of this episode, so you'll be able to watch it. But this is such a good album. Lots of heaviness to it. It's got a little bit of a Rush feel to some of the songs as well, which I like. So, anyways, Riverside. They're coming in at number 14. Number 15 is a band that I'm really starting to get into. I love this particular album. I've got another couple of them in my playlist. Another one that I just bought, the brand new one, is really good. We're talking about Uriah Heep. Fantastic band. Number 13. Number 12, another guy I discovered on this channel, and I've since damaged this cover. No, I don't know what I did to it, but I did something to it, and it's busted up. Anyways, Steve Hackett, another great. I've got a couple of his stuff now. Some more stuff I'm looking at getting. I think this guy is really good. He's got a lot of different stuff too, so I'm not sure if I'll like it all, but I like him enough to put him in number 12. Number 11, Hawkwind. Yeah, the Space Rock Giants. Album after album. Never stopped making albums, this guys. I have one in my playlist now. I went through the Hall of the Mountain Girl, which is really good. These guys are good. I really like that heavy space element to their music. Next band up, another Canterbury band that has a lot of... I have about 5 of their albums. I like them all. I currently have one in the playlist. This one was in the playlist. Probably my favorite at the moment. We're talking about Camel. Yeah, great band. Just absolutely great. Number 10. Number 9. Another of those. This is a Norwegian band. I love it. I love the art of this album. I have another one in my playlist right now. Just a strong band. Really good. Classic sounding progressive rock. They use only instruments for this particular album. I don't know if they do that for all their albums, but for this particular album, they used only instruments that came out in the early 1970s. We're talking about Wobbler. Great album. I love these guys. They're fantastic. Next up, this is a band that I knew of and had heard a couple of their songs, obviously, on the radio, but never really followed them. Didn't think much of it. You know, it was a passing thing. And I bought this album, and I didn't even know if I would like it. And then once I started playing it, I realized how good it was. And Men at Work, Australian band, coming in here at number 8. Number 7, this is a band, same type of thing as them. I didn't even know anything from this band. I just wasn't sure that I would even like them. And then the album just kept getting better and better, and I just kept wanting to listen to more of their stuff. We're talking about Atomic Rooster. Yeah, fantastic stuff. That's number 7. Number 6. Down to the 6 now. The Tea Party. Canadian band, trio. Not a power trio, but a trio nevertheless. Very Indian sounding music. A lot of that Eastern sound. I do like their music quite a bit. I love the vocalist. He's very kind of in the wheel well, or in that kind of similar range as Jim Morrison, whose voice I like a lot, and this guy I love as well. So Tea Party coming in at number 6. Now we're down to the top 5. These 5 are all easily the best 5 so far since I've been doing this. And there's other stuff I'm getting into, but these bands. So Steely Dan, number 5. Now got about 6 of their albums. This one is going to go into the waiting list for getting into my playlist, but I've got so many in there I can't put it in right now, so it will go in there fairly soon though. Great album. One of their albums is in my list right now. I think it's pretty close to my favorite right now. So Steely Dan, number 5. Number 4, this is a band that probably people think will go higher with me, but they're going to go in 4th here. IQ. Love this album. Currently have another one in there. I like Awake. Really good band. If you love that old Genesis, you will absolutely kill to listen to this. Number 4. Number 3, this band, lots of albums I have by them, listen to them quite a bit. Similar to Pink Floyd, they have a Pink Floyd kind of side to them. They have that, they're kind of spacey. Maybe more spacey than Hawkwind, but not as heavy. I don't think they're as heavy, but they're pretty close. They're very similar in a lot of ways. So Eloy comes here at number 3. The top 2, easily the top 2. It wasn't really a competition. The competition was between the 2 of them. But I think this one's these guys are number 2, but they're not much further behind. And that's Nectar. And I have this one. I have Journey to the Center of the Eye. That's in the playlist. Now I have another one that's waiting to go in, 3 or 4 more. Such a great band. I love them. Nectar, number 2. Number 1, King Crimson. This album currently in my playlist. So what I'm doing with there's a few bands I'm doing this with. The Doors are one. King Crimson's one of the other ones where I've started at the beginning of the discography and I'll work my way through them, putting them in my playlist album after album until I do them all. This way, I think by doing that, I maybe get a little bit more feel what it was like to be following them at the time period when they were really big. So I'm starting with, this is the 4th one now I've done. It's just going in the playlist. And I have listened to it a few times because it was in one of my battles. And also I've listened to this album a few times before that. So Lark's Tongues and Aspic is this one, but King Crimson is the band. They got about 12 or 13 albums. I've got about 10 of them now. This is just a fantastic band. A band that I knew about 45 years ago, never followed them, wasn't interested. I listened a little bit to a couple of songs that other people had done and thought, nah, it's too messed up. I don't want to be involved with it. They're too far out there. And so it took me this long to get into them. But now they're my favorite band on this channel. So I'm just going to reiterate all of the groups, all of my top 25 groups starting from first to last. King Crimson, number 1. Nectar, number 2. Eloy, number 3. Fate's Warning, number 4. Steely Dan, number 5. Tea Party, number 6. Atomic Rooster, number 7. Men at Work, number 8. Wobbler, number 9. Camel, number 10. I'm just going to move some of these out of the way, otherwise I'm going to end up with a collapse. So where was I? Camel. So Hawkwind, number 11. Steve Hackett, number 12. Uriah Heep, number 13. Riverside, number 14. Amorphous Androgynous, number 15. Soundgarden, number 16. Jade Warrior, number 17. Oh, sorry, this way. Put it upside down. Porcupine Tree, number 18. Traveling Wilburys, number 19. Robert Palmer, number 20. Flower Kings, number 21. Sorry, I got these last ones the other way. Fate's Warning. Oh, sorry, Master's Apprentice, number 22. Fate's Warning, number 23. Gung, number 24. And last but not least, the Scorpions, number 25. Scorpions probably shouldn't have been in there, but they were cutting it. They were close to the line, you know. I couldn't really tell you too much about them other than a couple songs that I knew from them off of the off of Blackout album before I started this channel, but I've been following them a little bit more lately, especially since I did the metal thing. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit the like and the subscribe. It's much appreciated. Any comments about any of these bands or anything else that you want to suggest to me, you can do that in the comment section below. And hit the notification bell, and we will see you next week on Favorites Wednesday night. Hopefully we'll have some more good stuff to listen to and talk about. So take care and have a good night. Goodbye.